picture this. It's April 2023, and the technology services company that I was working for at the time had organized this ChatGPT workshop. Like everyone's talking about this AI thing. So they got a couple of my colleagues to facilitate a workshop to show us what the hype was all about. And honestly, it was super fun, super interactive, engaging. Everyone's getting excited about the possibilities. And I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty cool technology. But then, and this is where it gets real, me being me, I decided to test it on something practical. So I asked ChatGPT a question based on the actual project I was working on at the time, something super, super specific to my client's situation. And the answer from ChatGPT was brilliant, like genuinely super insightful analysis that would have taken me hours of research and analysis to put together. And it just gave it to me in a matter of seconds. I'm feeling two things at once. Like, obviously, complete awe. Wow, this is insane technology. This is going to change the world. But also a bit of a wave of panic, right? If a machine can do in a matter of seconds what we charge clients in billables, like, what the hell does this mean for me in my career in consulting? So in that moment, very much my wake-up call, I literally sat there thinking, I don't think I have a career in consulting. Well, at least not the type of consulting that I was doing at the time. But honestly, that moment of panic was probably the best thing ever, right? Because instead of pretending it wasn't happening or burying my head in the sand, I decided to figure out how to work with this technology rather than against it. I'm sure you have a similar story to that first moment you used it and it blew your mind. But you might also have a similar feeling of a bit of panic. I know people who have shared with me that they feel really worried. They wonder if their expertise will still matter in 5 years, if they're going to be left behind, if a machine is coming for their job. So today we're talking about AI anxiety and why it hits so hard, but also how to flip from AI anxiety to action, from threat to opportunity. You're never powerless, my friends. So in this episode, we're diving into why AI anxiety feels so intense. And spoiler alert, it's not actually about the technology. Then I'll give you 3 specific strategies to stop competing with machines and start doubling down on what makes you irreplaceably human. We'll talk a little bit about the psychology behind why this feels so threatening and also why our brains are just freaking out at the moment. We're gonna get super practical, both in this podcast, and I've also prepared for you a free workbook, but stay with me for now. I'll talk about that at the end. Ready? Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Noemi, former queen of bad habits and corporate go-getter turned well-being coach and personal growth junkie. And in a world full of overwhelming wellness advice, we're here to cut through the noise. This is your space to master healthy habits, transform your mindset, own your well-being, and design a life you love on your terms. We're ditching the highlight reels and embracing the whole messy, imperfect journey towards becoming our absolute best selves. You're the author of your own story. So are you ready to write the next chapter? Let's go, and welcome to Unwritten Potential. Most people think it's about the technology itself, like I'm scared because robots are getting smarter. But that's not it at all, is it? Like AI anxiety is actually about identity threat. When we see a machine do something we've always done, something we've built our entire sense of professional self around, our brain doesn't think this is cool technology. It thinks, wait, am I still needed? What's left that's uniquely mine? What value do I bring? And this makes total sense when you think about it. Like for the past 30 years, automation and technology has mostly hit blue collar jobs like assembly lines, manufacturing, manual labor. But this time, technology and automation is coming for the college educated knowledge workers who thought they were totally safe. The programmers, the writers, the analysts, the consultants, people like me who spent years and tons of money on getting fancy degrees, thinking that this was going to make us automation proof, this was going to make us disruption proof. So when you see ChatGPT solve problems or write copy or write code better than you did last week, you're basically having an existential crisis. It's like, wait, if machines can do the thing I went to school for, the thing I've been doing for years, the thing that I have invested my entire professional career developing, then who am I? What's my value? And honestly, this explains so much about why the anxiety feels so intense. But also, I think why the media has been covering this so much. It seems that the media and society as a whole didn't seem to care as much when the jobs being displaced were blue collars, just saying. And recent research shows that over half of workers are worried about AI workplace impact. Like 64% feel overwhelmed by the pace of change. I have a lot of data in the newsletter, so if you want to check it out, go to unwritten.coach. I go into the research in a bit more depth. And looking at it through a psychology lens, it makes sense. Like when we don't know what's coming, our brains default to threat detection mode. Either freeze up completely, total inaction, or desperately try to learn everything all at once, and we end up completely overwhelmed. Does that sound familiar? And I see this all the time. People either completely avoiding AI because it's just too scary and there's just too much. It's moving so fast. They feel that they can't keep up. Or they're frantically trying to become prompt engineer experts overnight and subscribe to all of the newsletters and watch all of the YouTube and sign up for all the courses, trying to stay relevant. And no judgment here, but both reactions are probably missing the point a little bit. Because here's what the actual research shows, and this might surprise you. AI isn't coming for most jobs directly, like not yet anyway. The latest MIT data shows, and this dropped this week, only about 3% of jobs could be replaced by AI in the short term. What it's actually doing right now is AI is replacing outsourced work. Those tasks companies were already sending offshore anyway. It's eliminating business process outsourcing, so BPO, more than cutting internal staff. For now, AI is likely to displace some jobs. I've seen any kind of figures, but that's eventually. We're not there yet. The key word is eventually. And what that gives you is space and a bit of time to adapt, to position yourself strategically. And I'm not usually a cynical person, but a lot of the headlines just talking about the bloodbath in the corporate world due to AI, a lot of them are coming from AI company CEOs who obviously have a pretty obvious incentive to hype up their technology. Like, of course, they're going to say that they're going to wipe out half of all the jobs. It's clickbaity and they want investment money. They want media attention and they're sure going to get it with these type of headlines. But the reality check here that no one is talking about, 95% of organizations at the moment investing in Gen AI are getting zero return on investment. Zero. So yes, we should absolutely take this seriously and adapt because it is going to change the way we work. But we don't need to panic. We need to think strategically. Okay, so based on everything we just talked about, here's what you can actually do about AI anxiety. I've got 3 strategies that will help you stop competing with machines and start being irreplaceably human. And strategy number 1, care about outcomes beyond the tasks. And this is huge. AI can write brilliant copy, solve super complex problems, analyze massive amounts of data. But here's what it cannot do: it doesn't lie awake at night wondering if it actually helped your business grow. It doesn't care if the solution it provided actually solved your team's real problem. You do. Like, when I use AI to help research topics for this podcast, ChatGPT gives me a list of authors and papers and ideas, but it doesn't care if those ideas will actually resonate with you, my friends. It doesn't know that you're probably listening to this while getting ready for work, thinking about your own career transitions and your own challenges. It doesn't care. I care about that. I think about whether this episode will actually help you feel less anxious and more empowered. That's human intelligence AI just cannot replicate. I know that the topic of AI therapy is a big one this week, but it's a fallacy. AI doesn't care. I care. You care. So, how do you apply this? Stop paying attention to the outcomes you naturally care about, the follow up questions you ask, the way you check in to see if your work actually made a difference, because that's your competitive advantage right there. Strategy number 2, navigate what's unsaid. You know that thing when someone asks for one thing, but you can sense they need something completely different. They're trying to tell you, their body language tell you something completely different. That's human intelligence AI just cannot match, at least not yet. Like, a client might ask for a marketing strategy, but what they actually need is help with team communication. Or someone might request data analysis, but what they're really looking for is confidence in the decision they've already made. AI takes requests literally. Humans can read between the lines. I see this all the time in coaching. Someone will book a session saying they want help with time management, but within like 5, 8 minutes, it becomes clear they're actually struggling with boundaries or feeling overwhelmed because they're saying yes to everything. The time management thing is just the surface symptom. So here's how you apply this. Trust your intuition about what people actually need. Ask the questions nobody else thinks to ask. Pay attention to tone and context, the stuff that's happening around the edges of conversations, because that's where your value lives. Strategy number 3, learn from messy experience. This one's my favorite because it's so uniquely human, imperfectly human. Every war story that you have, every mistake you've made along the way, every lesson you've learned in your career or in your professional life, that provides context that makes your advice uniquely invaluable, right? AI has access to all of the information in the world, all of the information on the internet, but it doesn't have your specific experience of what it was like when that product launch went belly up, or when that team restructure didn't work the way everyone expected, or when that strategy looked perfect on paper but fell apart in reality pretty quickly. Like, your messy experience is your superpower. It is actually your superpower. So, practically speaking, here's what this looks like. Use AI for research, by all means, first drafts, data analysis, routine tasks. Think of it as the smartest but greenest intern you have ever had. Then you add your human judgment to kind of shape it into something more meaningful. One final thing, AI always has an answer, even if it's a wrong answer. But you have something better. You know when you don't know, and you're curious enough to explore what's missing. So get comfortable with saying, I don't know, because that curiosity, that willingness to sit with uncertainty until the right solution kind of emerges, that's irreplaceably human, my friend. Okay, so let's bring this all together. Here's what we covered. AI anxiety isn't really about technology, it's about identity threat. When machines can do what we've always done, our brains panic. That's completely normal and totally human. And here's the thing, you're not competing with AI. You're learning to work with it while staying irreplaceably human. And we've also explored the things that AI generally cannot do, care about the outcomes beyond the task, navigate what's unsaid, and learn from messy experience. So here's your homework. This week, I want you to pay attention to one thing. What's the most irreplaceably human thing you bring to your work? Is it the way you can sense when a project is heading in the wrong direction before anyone else sees it? Or maybe the questions you ask that nobody else kind of seem to think of? Your ability to help people feel heard and understood, or the context that you're bringing from years of experience. Whatever it is, that's your competitive advantage. That's what you double down on. And honestly, the future doesn't belong to people trying to compete with machines, but it belongs to people who can think like humans and aren't afraid to show it. If you want to dive a little deeper into the research and the data that I've touched on today, check out this week's full newsletter at unwritten.coach. Just click newsletter for my latest post. And if you want to go even deeper, I've created a free workbook called From AI Anxiety to AI Advantage. And it is filled with super powerful coaching questions to help you identify your unique value and create a clear action plan. You can grab it in the show notes. All right, my friend, this is it for this week. Remember, you're not being replaced, you're being freed up to do the work only humans can do. I'll see you next week.